with the Arkansas. I'll try that again. Um, my name is Scarlett Sims. I'm with the Arkansas Arts Council. I am the Artist Services Manager, and I help artists connect with resources, including grants. And Arkansas Arts Council, in case you guys don't know, although I think I know a whole lot of people in here, so it's very exciting. Kind of nervous. It's very exciting to see everybody. Welcome. Um, um, Before I get distracted, the Arkansas Arts Council is a mostly grant-making institution. We give out roughly 1.8 million in grants annually to nonprofit organizations, tax-exempt entities, and to individual artists. So we're one of the few places where individual artists can get grants. We are the only agency that does a statewide grant. That's the Fellowship Awards, which is why we're here today. Just a little housekeeping real quick, though. We are recording, so I do hope that other people are also recording. So just so you guys know, and we will be sending out a link to try to help other creatives who are going through the application process for the Fellowship Awards. I also have a slideshow presentation. Oh, it's on. And we'll send that out too for follow-up. But feel free to reach out if you have any questions later on. And just we're here to walk you through the process. So I guess we can go ahead and get started. Let's just move this. Yeah, okay. So, oh yes, and also we're a small group, so feel free to raise your hand and ask questions or to put your questions in the chat so we can I'll try to answer them as we go along. There's also time at the end, and I can answer those questions too. So hopefully you have a lot of different questions that you want to ask throughout this. If you could, though, try to keep your sound on mute until you have raised your hand or until you're trying to actually communicate. Okay. What is the Individual Artist Fellowship Award? So the award started in 1986, and it recognizes individual artists living and working in Arkansas in 3 different rotating categories. We expanded that thanks to a Wingate grant, so now it's 6 categories. So we were able to double that. And so now we award $5,000, which is also an increase, $5,000 to up to 18 creatives in 6 different categories annually. Who's eligible? You need to be an artist who is living and working in Arkansas. We have an age limit, which is 21 and up. So we are looking for creatives who are a little more than emerging artists who have been doing their work for a while, because this is not a program that is specifically for a project. This is really based on your creative work and the work that you've been doing for a while. Oops. Wrong button. Sorry. Okay. This year, the Individual Artist Fellowship categories are poetry, dance choreography, public art, contemporary craft with a wood component, multisensory art, and community engagement. I feel like some of these are, I think, are self-explanatory. Poetry is any kind of poetry. Dance choreography includes any genre of dance. As long as you are doing the choreography, then that would be an eligible style. Public art is public art that it can be installation pieces, it can be sculpture, it can be murals, but it's artwork that is for the public, and it's almost unavoidable. Like, it's something the public passes, it's in a public space. It can be indoor and outdoor, and it can be any size. So this could be sidewalk chalk art. It could be small art that's does throughout the city. It does not have to engage the community in any way. In fact, it just needs to be accessible in a public way. Contemporary craft with a wood component. So in contemporary craft, that's more of a you use a heritage or a traditional style but you would reinvent it in some way. And we emphasize aesthetics over functionality in this particular category. And multisensory art. Multisensory art is works that are experienced in more than one way with more than one sense. So it has to have at least two senses that are involved. It can be anything. It can be, I haven't had this happen yet, but it would be kind of cool if it was visual and taste. I don't know, a licking well? Maybe don't do that. But you know, it needs to be some form of art. And we'll look at a little bit more of that later on in this. Okay. So I get this question all the time, and I would like to point out I am not on the panel. I only help the judges moderate. I help put the applications before them and organize and help them sort of assess and access the applications that you submit. If you haven't here, if you haven't muted, please do so. Okay, so you have to pick at least one category. And so when you're thinking about what category you want to apply for, you need to know your art, and you need to know your art practice, and you need to know how to tell your story in a way that makes sense for this category. Okay, what category? Okay, the sixth category, which was written down there, was community engagement arts. And I'll go over that one too. I picked it out here in a minute. But a lot of people have trouble figuring out which category they want to apply for. And it's really important to just sort of know how you do your art practice and if you can tell your story in a way that fits this category. Okay, and we'll go over more about the narrative statements a little bit later, but all applicants require a narrative statement that answers 5 different questions and examples of your work. So all of those are required. It's all in one PDF. So you create your own application and then upload it. So these are some top issues from judges that we've heard in the past. Community engagement arts, it's a very fluid kind of category, which is the art form that we just talked about a minute ago, but it is meant to invoke or evoke community dialogue, unity, creative placemaking. It creates or highlights some sort of social justice, or it maybe not social justice, but it highlights a community issue or something the community cares about. And it either brings people together or helps them discuss something that might be a difficult topic. So it can be very, very open to interpretation. It just needs to have the ability to create something together.
Sorry, Patty wants to know if she can apply when she lives in Memphis.
Okay, there's a bunch of questions in here. My coworkers are saying. Okay. So this particular since we are the Arkansas Arts Council, Arkansas, you need to live and work in Arkansas for at least a year. So if you are outside of Arkansas, this is not a grant for you. I'm sorry if that was not clear.
Yeah, but
oh, I accidentally muted you. Sorry, Patty.
but even though I work across the state with the roster, I still can't apply.
Nope, this is an Arkansas-based grant. So this is for people who live and work in Arkansas. It is not for anyone else.
Okay.
Yeah. But thank you for being here. I'm so sorry. Yeah. There were some other questions. Let me catch up real quick. Need an Arkansas address? Yes. What kind of art is eligible in the 6th category? I think I answered that. Hopefully. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is I did use a slide. It is actually CC Mercer on Tanya Hollyfield's painting, which I forgot to put on the thing, which that's the one of the few I missed. Sorry about that. Yeah, so this is actually on 7th Street, and this was one of our fellowship recipients in the first year we had community engagement arts, and that was 2022, I think. Um, so these are the top issues that I hear back from judges over and over again. The artist doesn't explain how the art form creates dialogue or community building, creative placemaking. It doesn't explain how this is in any way related to the category. The artist doesn't identify how they came to the art, like why this artist, why now. You need a story that sort of explains why you do what you do. And the artist didn't put in whether there was any impact, like how this made any changes, whether the community engaged, how many people showed up to your exhibit or to your event. Like there just wasn't a lot of information about whether there was anything that manifested afterward. Okay, so this is some examples from what judges said about applicants that they liked. So these are some of the exact examples from uh, I think 2023 and 24. But anyway, so they liked it when you had a very strong presence, powerful examples, and that you actually showed them that your community engagement piece mattered. Um, they also like it when there's a showcase of mastery uh, and sort of technique. So those are some of the things that they talked about. Excuse me. So these are the key takeaways for community arts. These are some of the mistakes that we do see in applications a lot. Curating an event is not enough to be community art. You can't just be putting together something in an arts museum or putting together events and have that be community art. It needs to be something that you created, that you're creative behind. Your artwork doesn't align with your oh wait, not aligning your artwork and your story. So you don't really tell people how your art and your story go together. Okay. Oh, got some more questions. If a nomadic artist working and residing in for Arkansas, you need to be able to say that you are an Arkansas residency with a utility bill and preferably with your Arkansas driver's license for a year, basically. This is a year. That's the minimum requirement for living in working in Arkansas for this program. Um, we do if we do have questions, we do ask for proof. So that is something that is important to us, is that we are funding Arkansas-based artists.
Another question about submitting on a YouTube video.
Um, so we'll get to some submissions, other stuff for video later, I think. Uh-oh. So, but yes, in general, we do allow links to different things inside your application. But in this particular category, this is community engagement art, often has one of the most, it's one of the highest applicants, like there's the most applications in it, but we also get a lot of people who don't quite understand what community art means for this program. For example, community does not mean everyone in Arkansas. Like if you're doing something for everyone in Arkansas, maybe you should look at public art and whether that fits into that category. Okay. So what is multisensory art? This is another one that is a new category just in the last 3 years. And it is often, it can cover a lot of different kinds of art. And so people sometimes don't quite understand that their works could fit into this. So these are 3 of the different fellowship recipients we've had in the last few years and examples of what they do.
I'm asking about the narrative on the application. It said that we needed to write a 3,000 word narrative. Is that on? I want to do the public arts, and I have like 5 projects I've done in public works. But do I write 3,000 words about each one of them?
No, and we're going to get a little bit more in the details for the actual application here in a minute. So if you wouldn't mind holding up for just a little bit, but unless you need to go right away, but it's up to 300 words and you have to write a narrative statement. You do need to put in examples. At least 5 examples of your work needs to be included in your portfolio. But I'll get to
but it
some
said
of the,
it said 3,000.
it says up to 3,000. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so it has to be up to 3,000 words?
It does not have to be. Usually what we have with our narratives is 3 to 5 pages. You can go over that depending on how you'd like to put your portfolio together.
Okay. And we can do like a video portfolio, like a flip screen portfolio. We can put that in there.
That can be included.
Okay.
I'm going to move on now because we're going to go on to that further later on.
Okay.
And so I don't want to take up other people's time.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, multisensory arts can include using different kinds of technology and incorporating different styles into your work. And see, these are some of the examples of work that has in the past been awarded. I see I misspelled Brandy Wilkerson's name. That's my bad. Sorry. Okay, what panelists have said. These are some of the comments. And again, you'll see that they really like to understand why your work is in this particular category. And they want to see something about your history and story that ties into what you do and has a sort of a through line in your art. I do have a question about someone who doesn't have a license or state ID. You would have to have some way to prove that you are a resident in Arkansas for 1 year. So you would either need to have a utility bill or you can have a church, maybe you're homeless. That's fine. You would just need somebody to send something that says that you were there for a year. We would need to consider that. Okay, so some of the key takeaways for this particular, the multisensory genre is that judges want works that are more experimental. So you can see some of the examples here. Works that have won in the past include exhibit arts that you can then play on musical instruments or you are part of the exhibit. Here's a toy maker who created artworks that sang and had lights and it changed as you use the toy. Also, we've had creatives who integrated music with light shows. Those kinds of things have received awards in the past. Okay, I'm going to pause for a minute and take some questions here. Could we pair with a coworker? No, this is an individual artist fellowship award. It is for individuals. The key here is one person as an individual. Okay. Okay, are there any other questions for right now? Would you guys mind raising your hand or asking? Oh. Here's one. Can multisensory work be based off of a single body of work or exhibit? The work needs to be yes, essentially yes. You can have one exhibit with multiple pieces of work that showcases the mastery or technique that you do as an artist, and that is possible that would be enough. If you have more than one exhibit, you should mention that to judges for sure, even if you don't include the photo examples of that work, definitely. Okay, so let's talk about the artist narrative. So there are every single portfolio must answer these 5 questions. And how you answer them, it's really up to you. Some people decide to do question by question with answers in between, and some people prefer to do more of an essay style. But you still must answer these questions. How does your artwork fit into this specific category? Why is your work important to you and or your community? Or what makes it impactful? What is the story behind your work and you as an artist? How has your artwork been viewed or engaged people in your community, statewide, or nation? This is just basically asking you where your artwork has been. Like where have you been? What has it been doing? Is this a touring exhibit? Is this painting? Is this what is it that your work is and does? And where are you going in your creative journey? And so this is just asking you for like where you are now as a creative and where you hope to be in the next year to 5 years. Okay, so I do have a lot of questions about anonymous. We do strive for anonymity in our portfolios. However, as the digital age has progressed, it has become more and more difficult to be completely blind and to have an application that is completely anonymous. Anything you put in your portfolio, technically we ask our judges not to Google that, but if you put something in there and then they see an image, they could technically just Google that image and most likely pull up every piece of information you have out there already because you are professional artists who are marketing yourself as artists. Like you're not, and also it can be extremely difficult to be anonymous in certain categories like community engagement. So we ask you not to put your name in your application and not to save your file with your name in it. But I do understand that technology has developed to such a point that it would be almost impossible to meet the criteria for a completely blind application. So that's what that means. So I do have a question about public art. This is the first time we've actually had this category. We strive annually to create categories that are both sort of traditional and also try to create something that maybe we haven't had before. Other categories in the past that we've tried out that are brand new is comedy. Stand-up comedy was one year, and we also did fashion for the first time ever last year. So we are changing categories to try to include as many creatives as possible. Okay, so these are a few examples of how people have answered. And I also have pulled up some that I can show you later, pulled up some actual applications that were well received. But some tips that are for your narrative include to be to the point, be concise, be as clear as possible. Now you can write this down as we've been talking about, or, I do have a video option or audio option. So if you as an artist struggle as a writer or there's an accessibility issue, you can go ahead and create a video and send us a public link that's housed on a public platform like Google Drive or YouTube. And that can suffice for your artist narrative. I also put down in here how you can do this easily. If you wanted to do the written one, which most people do, then you would have a Word document where you can insert your photos and you can put links in with your text. And also, if you do have issues, you can reach out and we will try to help you as much as possible. But don't wait until the last day to apply. You probably won't get as much help. And I have had people who were trying to apply at 2 minutes before and their application just didn't go through. And so they had to wait a whole another year. Okay, so here's some more portfolio tips. Please provide at least 5 images, like the more images you have probably is going to be the better. Judges will want to look at as much possible examples of your work that show breadth and depth, technique, excellence, those kinds of they want to see that you are a professional who's done a lot of good work. Your portfolio needs to be 10 pages to 25 pages in general. I have had artists that have put in less, but so far, those artists have not been awarded a fellowship. Let's see. We do get a lot of questions about poetry, and in this case, you do have 20 pages of poetry to work with. We allow a lot of flexibility because I do know that some poems use the fonts and use like how the words create an image as part of their poetry, and that's allowed inside this category. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to look at a couple of different portfolios that have been successful. I'm going to stop share, and if you have questions at this point, feel free to ask.
Yes, I had a question in the chat. I had put, have you had awardees that have entered at least, well, less than the 20, but at least the 5 images?
Let's see. Put in 5 images. No, I think it's always been 10 and up images.
Okay.
At least now I've only been here in this position for 3 years, going to my 4th year. And this is only the 3rd year or 4th year that we've had expanded categories. So in the past that may have worked, but
Right.
you know, I guess it would have to be exemplary work that just
Understood.
Yeah.
So, but you would encourage at least 10, but no less than that 10.
I mean, I would encourage it, but again, I'm not reviewing it.
Right, understood.
Okay.
But in your experience, just seeing the awardees,
Yeah,
and the pattern of that.
Yes, the pattern has been a minimum of 10. Most people will take up a whole lot more work. Can you guys see what I'm showing you? This individual artist portfolio?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I actually wanted to show, I'm not sure if this one's a good one. Here's a painting.
Can't get out of that.
Yeah, let me stop this one. I want to share this other one.
Oh,
okay. Okay.
Why is that not working?
Okay. This is you should be able to see a portfolio from a recipient in the painting category, I guess a couple years ago. This particular person did an essay style and talked about a lot of like their family growing up, how their art has developed, a lot of like where their stuff has been and where they picked up their pieces. And then when she gets to her actual portfolio samples, this is how she arranged her work. And I think this works out really well. Most of the creatives who have earned fellowship have done something at least similar to this. Whether the context is on the side or not doesn't really matter, but judges want to be able to see images, and then you have your title, your date, what it's made out of, and any information that's going to help them either understand the piece or sometimes there are pieces that need more technical explanation, and this would be where you could put that. So, and this artist went ahead and let's see how many pieces. They added more than 10 pieces too. Okay. Okay, so this is an example of a community engagement artist. And they did theirs a little bit different, as you can see. They kind of made it look much more like a I guess what I would think of as a resume, but I think it's quite interesting how they put everything together. They also use more of the essay style for their actual writing. Oh, and this does remind me, this artist didn't do that, I don't think, but they you are allowed to put pull quotes for like different reviews. So if somebody has reviewed your work, you might go ahead and put that. That shows community impact, which is one of the questions. Okay, let's look at a different one. Oh, I already looked at that one. Sorry. Okay, so this one is one from this is the toy maker that we looked at earlier, some of his pieces. So he used this kind of where he showcased a little bit at the top and then he went into his background more. And this one shows more context here, and he integrated what he did more into his essay, and that's absolutely fine. There's a lot of flexibility with how you decide to showcase what you do. Okay, so this is a particular artist who did more like, here's the question, here's my answer. Okay. And this is also a painter from a couple years ago. And some of the stuff that, again, he puts in here is adding context to what the judges are seeing. Yeah. Okay, so, oh, yeah, if you would like to ask a question, either unmute and ask, go ahead and ask now, or drop it in our chat and I'll try to get to you as quickly as I can.
Hey, real quick, sorry, thank you. As far as those portfolios you just scrolled through, were those templates that are on the application or are those self-made? Does that make sense?
Pamphlets?
Templates, like are they
Templates. No, these are self-made. Yeah,
Perfect.
all they did was open a Word document, and in this particular case, this is Neil Calendar's. So in case
Okay,
y'all,
awesome.
and
Thank
he just put the questions down and then entered what information he wanted. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much.
Okay. Let me see if there's one more. Um, and you can, let's see, one more share. So this is just a one more share, and this artist was a little bit different, but in general, this one I just wanted you to see because you can go ahead and put in links that will help people with context. In this case, I do suggest that you put in the full URL link just in case it's broken. And some of the categories will require links like dance choreography. We will need to see actual links to your work. If you're doing public work and it's a large piece, I suggest that you do a video so that you can showcase the entirety of your work and where it's seen. So, okay.
So I was looking on the website and it says it takes you months. Well, the judge, sorry, not you, sorry, but the judges months. So about May 2025, we should know whether or not we've been selected, correct?
Well, the process will go like this. It'll close on February 3rd. I will have to go through and make sure all of the applications are ready to be reviewed for the judges. I hope to get that to them within like 2 or 3 weeks. It depends on how many applications that I have to sort through. Then we will have panelists times when they meet. Usually I give them about a month to review. And then whenever they can meet, it has to be one after the other. So we're talking about 6 different panel meetings. After that, in May, the Arkansas Arts Council's advisory board will review those and approve them for a final time. And then after that, I start notifying. And then after that, after the fiscal year, you'll start receiving a check. So the notification part would come probably end of May or June. And then the payment parts would start probably August. And that's how that would work.
Okay, thank you.
So this right here is our grant portal. To get there, I may have needed to show you how to get there. Let's share a different screen real quick. Okay, so if you type in Arkansas Arts Council, you're going to get a page. You'll probably actually get this page. Let's see. Oops, no, not that page. So you'll get this page and then click on apply and it'll draw up this. So this is your, this is a great page to look at for getting details about your different kinds of categories, your eligibility, how to apply, what you need, how to create a PDF. And then you will go ahead when you're ready. It also has these, which I think are pretty fantastic, and an FAQ section. We also have YouTube videos of previous recipients, and that can be very helpful to understand what they're doing and what kind of creatives have been funded in the past. After that, you just hit this button and it should take you to this. No, am I? I don't think I'm sorry. I think I shared the same thing. I'm trying to my PowerPoint. Here we go. Okay, so once you get here, you will just create an account. And then once you create an account, it will show you the different categories. And then you would just hit apply for whichever one. Now you can only apply for one category, so try to make sure that you're applying for the right category. If you do have trouble and you hit submit and you feel like you're in the wrong category, if you can contact me before the deadline, I will change it over. I'll try to remove it and put it into the correct category for you. Okay, this is just a little plug. We have recently been able to create an award behind the Arkansas Living Treasure Award. And so we are now going to be able to fund traditional craftspeople. And so keeping in mind, if you are making and building bridges in your community and you know a master craftsperson in traditional or heritage arts, then that person needs to be nominated and could earn a $5,000 grant through a similar process as a fellowship. Okay. I just want to recap really quickly kind of what we've been talking about. So definitely make sure that when you are putting in your work that your work shows a voice. People want to be able to kind of know who the artist is without even seeing the name. So your work should be able to be identified just by who you are, kind of. Also, your work needs to be original. We have had applicants in the past that they are creating replicas of something, and that is not originality. So make sure that your work stands alone, showcases the techniques that you are mastering, and also is original and inventive and fresh for you. Okay. I am getting back to questions. My coworkers think I can hear them when they're talking and I can't. I can't at all. So let's see, what are some questions that I have missed? What is the average number of applications per year? The average number of applications per year runs about 250 people. Are current college students eligible to apply? If you are 21 years old and up, and you are living and working in Arkansas for at least a year, then you are eligible to apply. Students are eligible for some of our programs and grants. If you're 18 and up, you would be eligible for Small Works on Paper, which is a touring exhibit, which would help you as an emerging artist. So that also is on our website. It would be a good one to look at. There are other grants for individual artists not living in the state. No, we really focus on artists living and working in Arkansas. So all of our grants in the Arkansas Arts Council are going to be for Arkansas artists, with some exceptions for Arts on Tour artists who come and perform. So, but that's still different because our nonprofit organizations are hiring those artists to come in and perform. So in general, no. But if you are looking for more regional grants, you might check out Mid-America Arts Alliance. That is our regional arts organization, and they do have grants for more of a regional approach to grants. Otherwise, if you're outside of our region and you are more toward the south, you should check out South Arts. Every region in America has a regional arts district, and so you should reach out to them or your state arts council. So every state has an arts council or an arts commission, and they also offer similar programs to what we are offering. Although I like to think ours are better. The Sally Williams grant is not likely to reopen. We used to have that particular grant, but that fund is closed indefinitely. Yes, Mid-America Arts Alliance is MAA. It looks like ma.org. Even if I work in West Memphis, even if you work, no, you have to live and work in Arkansas to be eligible for this particular program. It's for Arkansas artists. Okay. I don't know, have I missed anything? Do you have any questions, or are you interested in other things? Brandy, would you mind putting that quote or that link I had in there for other grants that might help organizations or artists? No, she may not be in there anymore. I can find it. Oh, she found it.
I believe the lady that's talking about West Memphis. West Memphis is a town in Arkansas.
Yes, I realize that it is a town in Arkansas. If she's not living there and only working there, she's still not eligible.
Okay.
She has to live and work in Arkansas.
Okay. One thing I wanted to ask you for myself is I'm doing a portfolio, visual portfolio, digital. And do I put my name on the portfolio? Like if I have a front page, the first page, do I put my name? You're saying you
No,
wanted us to stay anonymous?
yes.
Okay.
No, you should not put your name in your portfolio, and do not save your portfolio's title with your name in it. No name.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
Anybody else? Is there anybody here for poetry, or nobody's questioning the projects part? Like, you don't even have to have a project for this particular grant. It just has to be you've been working as an artist. Well,
Can you speak more on that, the projects part, please?
Sure. So a lot of people think that this is a project-based grant, and it's really not. It is a grant that is specifically for individual artists, and it does not require you to spend the money in any way. We have artists who have won this particular grant and used it for down payments for a house, or have renovated their studio space, or last year somebody's studio caught fire and they lost all of their equipment and they were able to replace it with this particular grant. It basically just covers your needs as an artist to allow you to continue to work, and does not require you to have a project in mind, or to pitch a project, or had to have an outcome. It's one of the few grants that is like that. It's just trying to support the artist holistically. The visual arts category comes up every year. This year just happens to be visual arts with the public art view. Painting was 2 years ago, and can't remember what last year was because I've slept since then. I'm sorry. I guess I just missed 2024. It's a terrible year. But yes, we have every year we're going to have a literary category. This year is poetry, but we've had in the past creative nonfiction and memoir writing and novel writing, playwriting. All of those have been categories in the past. We have also one that is for performance arts. So we've had blues music before. We've had costuming or theater staging. We've had a lot of different kinds of arts. Also, I just wanted to point out that some arts that you might be thinking about, like filmmaking or documentary making, technically that actually touches on two different senses. And so your art may actually fit into one of the categories that is open right now. We had for example, Vera Marie, a painter who does pastel paintings. She won in community engagement arts last year for her work where she featured community activists and leaders and people who came to her studio, and she did portraiture work, and then she created this exhibit. It was a traveling exhibit, but it also asked people to like describe themselves as part of the exhibit, and it became sort of this community engagement where people not only visualized and looked at the artwork, but they also created content during the actual exhibit. And so that's a visual artist. That is someone who is actually doing painting. Is sculpture ever separate category? It's under visual arts. In this particular, sculpture can be tricky. We have had installation before in the past. Last year we had glass and ceramics works, which could be sculpture. We did not make it where you didn't have to. That was under contemporary craft. And we have had metal work as part of that before too. So sculpture can fit into several categories depending on what you're doing with your sculpture work. And this year, if you are doing public work that's outside, sculpture could be public work. So have I missed anything? Anna looks like I might be boring her. Sorry. Okay, well, I hope a lot of different people go ahead and apply. I ended like 10 minutes early. I don't know if I just talked really fast or what.
No, thank you, Scarlett. This has been so helpful just to understand the different categories. You've given it a lot more context. As someone who does media, multifaceted, and just narrowing down which would be best to apply for. So definitely appreciate you and the team that's been on the line to help everybody.
No, thank you.
Again, yes, thank you.
Thank you. I've been waiting for this for all week, so I appreciate this.
Oh, good. Well, if there's anything you need in the future, you can email me. I did see a question up here about South Art. South Art would be, it's a regional arts organization, but I think they cover like Tennessee, which is why I mentioned it, Memphis, West Memphis, and also Mississippi area. If you're more on Arkansas proper side, Mid-America Arts Alliance covers us, Nebraska, strangely, and then also like it's a 6-state region and it covers Missouri and that way. So kind of the mid-America part. There's also one in the west, and there's one for the northeast. So I doubt y'all are over there. Maybe not. I don't know. But if you're in the Mississippi, Louisiana section, then South Art is where you would go for your regional arts organization. Tennessee, also every state has its own arts council. So okay, and I'm just gonna type I'm going to put my email in here. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Also, that link that Brandy put into the chat, that is just a collection of grants that I've been collecting and putting together from different organizations over the years. And some of those will help fund projects if you're more of a project-based artist and you're looking for something specific that way. We also have a couple of workshops coming up, like on fundraising and also on social media works or marketing. We have one on our YouTube channel now for crowdfunding. So we're interested in trying to help connect you with sources and also collaboration ideas, because 99% of grants nationwide, whether it's us or regional arts organization or the federal government, those are all going to go to nonprofit or tax exempt entities. And so being able to be an artist who collaborates with organizations, even your local church, to create programs, that's going to open up doors for grants for you. So, and if there's anything I can do to help, just let me know. Thanks, guys. Any more questions before I let you go? Jazz hands.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. I hope to see your applications. Bye.